What's up guys, Mike here, and last week we did the most surprising storylines in the NBA, so this week I thought it would be cool if we did the most surprising players in the NBA so far this season. So not much more to say in the intro other than that. Before we jump in the video though, I do want to thank you guys for killing it with likes lately. I think that's been helping a lot, so if you do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to turn notifications on for this channel just by clicking this bell. For now, let's look at the 7 biggest breakout players for the 2020 NBA season so far. Number 7, Brandon Ingram. All eyes were on the New Orleans Pelicans this past offseason because of a certain potential superstar, Zion Williamson. But with Zion injured to begin the season, it's been another former Duke Blue Devil who has stepped up to the plate and delivered big time. I'm talking, of course, about Brandon Ingram, the number 2 pick in the 2016 draft, who is starting to show just why he was valued so high coming into the NBA. Because after an uneasy tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers, Ingram was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans this past offseason in the Anthony Davis trade, and immediately his mentor, former NBA All-Star Jerry Stackhouse, let Ingram know that this was a positive transition. As Ingram said, quote, "He told me I was going to be around really good, genuine people, and the city would love who they're bringing in, and we're going to be building a good basketball team." And so far as the primary option for New Orleans, Ingram is averaging 25.9 points, 7.3 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and has career highs in blocks and steals per game to go along with shooting 54% from the field, which is also an upgrade. On top of this, Brandon is currently in the top 15 in the league in points per game and total points scored, and looking at his impressive season so far in general, no performance has been more in the spotlight than when Ingram put up 40 points against the Brooklyn Nets with his idol Kevin Durant watching in shock. So even though the Pelicans aren't exactly having the most team success with a 2-8 record, Brandon Ingram has showed that off of the Lakers, now playing as a main option for the Pelicans, the potential everyone saw in him before the 2016 draft is clearly there, and it looks like the Pelicans might now have a future All-Star for years to come. Number 6, Shai GilgeousAlexander. In the 2019 season, Shai GilgeousAlexander was a part of the All-Rookie second team and did show flashes of being a next level player in the playoffs against the Golden State Warriors. The thing is though, while he did show flashes, he also only averaged 10.8 points, 3.3 assists, and 2.8 rebounds. So while the potential was clearly there, it also was clear that Shai was far from a guaranteed future All-Star. However, in the offseason, Shai was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and now with the Thunder playing as one of the main offensive options for his team, suddenly Shai has developed into one of the most promising young players in the NBA. The man is averaging 20 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 3.1 assists, while also leading the Thunder in minutes per game by a pretty large margin, which tells us just how much the Thunder trust Shai already. This means that even though the Thunder did lose Russell Westbrook, at least Oklahoma City fans can be optimistic about a potential new face of their franchise. Shai has also gone on record and stated that he is comfortable playing in a small city and that he's ready to take OKC to the next level. And based on his play so far this season, I've got to say, I believe it. Number 5, Jaylen Brown. The road to success has not always been smooth for Jaylen Brown in the NBA so far. As last year during a rocky third season, it appeared that Brown had an extreme amount of resistance, pushing him back from climbing to the top of the NBA ladder. As Brown recalled, quote, "As soon as you start not believing in yourself, it's over." So I had to quiet that voice that was in the back of my head. Yes, with this quote, Brown admitted that last year he was not exactly confident with his play on the floor. However, the Celtics front office still showed enough faith in Jaylen to give him a $115 million contract extension this offseason, making Jaylen Brown the first Boston Celtics since Rajon Rondo to receive a contract extension off of his rookie contract before the offseason. Obviously, this meant that Danny Ainge and the Celtics thought very highly of Brown, and so far this decision has worked out incredibly well. I say this because Jaylen is currently averaging a career high 19.8 points per game while shooting a ridiculous 61% from inside the 3-point 3-point line. He is also sitting at 12th in the league currently in assist to turnover ratio, and this makes perfect sense as the Celtics are currently on pace to finish with the least amount of turnovers in NBA history. With this said, because of these low turnovers and because of Jaylen Brown's emergence, even though Gordon Hayward is now injured for an extended amount of time, the Boston Celtics have still had an incredible start to this season, and it looks like they are not going to slow down anytime soon. Number 4, Devonte Graham. At Kansas during his senior season, Devonte Graham added on to the already seemingly endless list of Kansas Jayhawk All-Americans, as he was both a consensus All-American and was also named the 2018 Big 12 Player of the Year, which means, of course, that his talent at the college level was clear. However, there were serious question marks as to how his talent would translate to the NBA, but his ability did impress the Charlotte Hornets enough to make him the 34th overall pick in the 2018 draft. With that said, although Graham did make the team and played well in the G League his rookie year with 23 points per game, in terms of his play at the NBA level last season, the struggle was real. Charlotte was mediocre and Graham shot a horrendous 34% from the field as a rookie while averaging just 4.7 points per game. So again, while the talent at the college level was clearly there, the bottom line was the results at the NBA level his rookie season were less than impressive, and so Graham came into this season with a chip on his shoulder. And after clearly putting in the hard work this past offseason, despite the fact that expectations were pretty low coming into the season, it has been obvious that Devonte Graham has been one of the most surprising second-year players in recent memory. I say this because his points per game have skyrocketed from 4.7 to 17.9 to go along with 7.6 assists, 3.6 rebounds, and a superb 43% three-point percentage. Devonte is also currently sitting in 7th in the NBA in total three-pointers made, and he even carried the Hornets to a victory over the Indiana Pacers on November 5th. As throughout the game, he would make several clutch plays and ended the night with 35 total points. I would go as far as to say that Graham is an obvious contender for the most improved player this year, and for a franchise that was expected to play horribly this season, personally, I am happy for Charlotte Hornets fans because Devonte Graham is a much needed ray of light in what looked like a situation filled with darkness. Number 3 and number 2, Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis. Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis have completely taken the league by surprise to start this season and have led the Pacers to an early 7-4 record. Now, I say surprise because with Victor Oladipo injured, many thought the Pacers were going to have a slow start to this season. However, it looks like Indiana has already found their identity earlier than expected. Brogdon has taken over as the primary option for the Pacers and is averaging a surprising 20.7 points and 8.5 assists per game. Going even further, he is currently second in the entire NBA in total assists, and as the team's number 1 option, has emerged as a legitimate all-star candidate in the East. His leadership is also unquestioned. As former college teammate Joe Harris has stated about Brogdon, quote, "We would have followed Malcolm to do basically anything that he asked us to do." So right now, if I was a Milwaukee Bucks fan, I would not exactly be happy with my front office for not re-signing Brogdon because of how great he's looked. And now it's time to talk about Domantas Sabonis. As a 6'11" do-it-all power forward with Basketball Hall of Fame genes, on paper, it shouldn't really come as a surprise that Sabonis has played this well this season. However, I don't think anyone quite expected this. Last year for the Pacers, Sabonis averaged just 14.1 points and 9.3 rebounds a game, but now, with Miles Turner only playing 4 games this season, it is Sabonis who has risen to the occasion and has averaged 19.8 points and 13.3 rebounds to go along with 3.9 assists and 52% shooting from the field. The man has also clearly been efficient with a 22.5 PER, as he has become a dominating presence in the paint, using a unique array of post moves to go along with his overall offensive versatility. Basically, what I'm saying is that both Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis have become a problem for NBA defenses, and when you combine these two players with Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo when they return, it is looking like Indiana might surprise a lot of people people this season. And number 1, Andrew Wiggins. Before this season began, ESPN did not have former number 1 overall pick Andrew Wiggins rated as a top 100 overall player. Wiggins would respond to this by saying, "There's not 100 players in this league better than me," and at the time, this became a semi-controversial statement because before this season, Wiggins could only be labeled as a disappointment. The reason I say this is that at one point in time, Wiggins' nickname was actually Maple Jordan, as people really thought that Andrew Wiggins had a chance to be one of the best players in the NBA, which meant at the very least, when the Timberwolves made the decision to trade All-Star Kevin Love for Wiggins, they and their fans thought that by his 5th season in the league, Wiggins would have at least approached All-Star level consideration. That was obviously not the case, as in the 2019 season, Andrew averaged just 18 points per game on 41% shooting. This was also combined with a subpar 4.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1 steal a night, and again, like I said before, the only thing Andrew Wiggins could have been classified headed into this season was a disappointment. Then enter this season, and with expectations at an all-time low, Wiggins has come out of nowhere and established himself as a potential all-star. He's averaging a career-high 25.5 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 3.3 assists, and is shooting a career-high 47% from the floor. A major improvement from last season, and something that I can safely say no one really saw coming. Me included, because last year I made an entire video on what a bust Andrew Wiggins has been. I am more than willing to be wrong though, because now with Wiggins over exceeding current expectations, he has been the obvious X factor for why the Minnesota Timberwolves have done so well. And when watching him play, it is obvious what has changed. In the past, Andrew loved to rely on long two-pointers, aka the worst shot you can take in basketball, but now his offensive game is dominated by a combination of drives to the rim or three-pointers, the two best shots you can take in basketball. So if Andrew Wiggins continues this success, and if Karl Anthony Towns continues to be the force he's been this year, suddenly the Minnesota Timberwolves have a much brighter future and look like a legitimate possible playoff team this year. To me, Andrew Wiggins is the most surprising player on this list. I never saw this coming. And there we have it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, again, it would be awesome if you left a like and turned notifications on. Those two things help out a ton, and if you're already subscribed to this channel, if you already have notifications on, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it, and as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music. By the way, if you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are going to love watching. All you have to do is just click on either one of them on the screen right here. And other than that, guys, again, have a great day and peace.